Ever since starting GRIT 9 years ago, I still hear from people that others would not be interested in the topic of international trade, or it is not a top or hot button issue. Some of these comments come from people in various professional fields. Of course, I beg to differ, considering that we all are impacted by international trade, both directly and indirectly on a daily basis. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Trade on Tuesdays at 2. I'm Dr. Sarita Jackson, President and CEO of the Global Research Institute of International Trade. International trade is felt in terms of the food insecurity many communities around the globe face when there is a serious decline in food imports, thus making it a top issue in these communities. International trade is felt when trade deals allow U.S. producers to sell more easily to the many consumers outside of the U.S. borders and U.S. consumers to purchase goods at lower costs that come from the overseas market, thus making it a top issue for producers and consumers who are already aware. International trade is felt when tariffs are placed on specific goods from particular countries and/or restrictions are placed on services, as in recent years due to government policies, and not just here in the United States, thus making it a top issue for those businesses and consumers who are affected. International trade is felt when there is a disruption in the supply chain, which makes it difficult to access goods in a timely manner and results in increased costs passed on to, you know who, businesses and consumers, as we saw several months ago, thus making it a top issue for both businesses and consumers. International trade is felt by workers competing against lower cost labor, thus making it a top issue for workers. So here are my two takeaways for today. Number one, become truly informed about how you are impacted by just starting to look at the source of your clothing and food and the impact on the daily lives of communities around the globe as a result. Number two, move beyond the headlines and the sound bites and check out the variety of credible sources where international trade is discussed regularly, thoughtfully, and from varying perspectives. And some of those sources are shared below. Well, finally, I'm glad to see that the students in my business and international relations courses, which I've taught since 2014 to 2015, or from 2014 since 2015, understand that they are constantly impacted by the global economy and have taken the steps to become truly informed and prepared. See you next week on another episode of Trade on Tuesdays at 2.